cannot continue to have an illusion that our system is fair. Wyandotte County District Attorney Mark Dupree says he's fed up with the current legal system. He says it hides racial discrimination and excessive force by law enforcement. There are contracts with the FOP that forbids that information from being known to the public and from us, which means I, as the district attorney and the community, cannot hold them accountable because of a contract that is signed. Dupree says his office has been working to make changes, including recently rebranding their Conviction Integrity Unit to the Community Integrity Unit, which will allow community members to be a part of the system. The system wants to stay the same, and that blunt force has to change. And the only way that we can make that happen is if we stop being political, and for goodness sake, one time, let's focus on the people. Now, the district attorney did add...
What's up, Royals? I'm yours truly, King Chris. Welcome back to The Conversation. This conversation takes us to Kansas City. Jay-Z Philanthropic Company files a lawsuit against Kansas City Police Department. On Monday, Jay-Z team Rockefeller, the philanthropic division of his entertainment company Roc Nation, files a lawsuit against the Kansas City Police Department, saying that they refused to hand over documents that could identify potential police cover-up and misconduct. According to the lawsuit that was filed in the district court, it is requesting documents related to complaints in the investigation division department and documents pertaining to complaints against individual officers' history of abuse. The team says that it also was requesting documents of the policies and procedures and the training and supervision of the officers. The attorney that is representing Roc Nation said that they provided us with some information through the Kansas Open Record Act. The documents the department provided to us was not sufficient. The Record Act allows interested parties to look into various state government documents that allows us to see certain files on how the government is handling certain issues. The government has attempted to block our access to those files, so we are suing them to see what they don't want us to see and what they could be potentially covering up. According to the lawsuit, it mentions that the Rockefeller team wants to see documents pertaining to a case of a former officer, Nicholas, who was charged with aggravated indecency liberties with a child that is younger than 14 years of age in 2020. This is the request of records about the Kansas Open Record Act. On August the 14th, the department refused to produce some of its requests. This is just one of the cases and one of the incidents that is listed in the lawsuit. The lawsuit comes after local protest calls on the U.S. Justice Department to investigate Kansas City police, saying that they have misconduct and discrimination reports.
Rapper Jay-Z's group filed a petition looking for records of alleged misconduct here at KCKPD. One of his attorneys told me that they received a lot of calls, not just from ordinary folks, but from former law enforcement who want to share their stories of alleged corruption within the department.
We believe that there's a lot more information that's available that they are withholding.
Christina Sarchio represents Jay-Z's group Roc Nation that's going after the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department for allegedly covering up misconduct within its rank and file.
Beyond just personnel records, we're asking for the complaints. We're asking to understand how the police handles complaints, whether there were investigations as a result of those complaints.
She says the department has given them hundreds of pages of documents, mostly from handbooks describing procedures and just a handful of complaints. Roc Nation learned about the alleged misconduct at KCKPD from the Midwest Innocence Project, who worked to free Lamont McIntyre. He spent 23 years in prison wrongly convicted of murder. McIntyre has sued former KCK detective Roger Golubsky, saying he framed him after his mother refused the detective's sexual advances. Roger Golubsky is the big bad boogeyman in the story, but people like to forget that there was a whole squad that knew what he was doing. Nikki Richardson with Justice for Wyandotte has shed light on KCKPD's problematic history in a variety of protests and on the 7th Street podcast that she launched last December. And so, of course, there's no incentive for them to open up those cans of worms because they have to deal with that accountability. But she and Roc Nation hope the national exposure will result in changes at KCKPD. Honestly, a complete restructuring of how accountability and transparency is delivered to the community in Wyandotte County. We deserve a lot better than what we're getting, and we're not going to stop until we get that.
The suit that was filed on Monday referenced several cases, including an officer who was charged with committing sex crimes involving a minor, 2 officers with felony misdemeanor assaults over a mistreated of an inmate, officers indicted on charges from stealing from homes where they were serving arrest warrants, as well as a federal lawsuit in which a black female officer sued the department for alleged race and gender discrimination.
Counts of aggravated indecent liberties with a child. Wyandotte County DA Mark Dupree says Schaefer knew the victim and the alleged crimes took place while he was not on duty. Schaefer has been placed on unpaid leave.
Royals, this is a really good thing that JC is doing. I love it, and hopefully that this will bring a lot of spotlight to the criminal justice system. One thing that I find with the criminal justice system, their consistency is covering up for their own. Like I always tell you, they're on code. This man spent all this time in jail for a crime he did not do because his mother would not give the white cop some nookie. This is slave mentality, slave behavior. As I told you, we cannot forget what the police department, what the legal system was founded on. It was founded on slave patrol. It was founded on hunting down black and brown skinned people. The mentality remains the same. And then you have officers are getting harassed. You have officers are getting mistreated because they're women and because they're black. And then you have an officer committing sex crimes. As I told you, the perpetrator, as I always say, of sex crimes are usually white men. It's usually white school teachers. The laws are never changed because it's something that they do. And they continue to cover up. They continue to get a slap on the hand because it's their crimes. Meet me below at the comments and let me know what you think, and let me know how you feel about this whole entire thing. My black and brown skinned people, I love you guys so much, and everyone else. Please remember, stay up, never down. Until we meet again, may God bless.